Hi everyone, so welcome to my channel World Earth View, and today I have kind of a topic that's just starting to become aware for the people that are awake and who are paying attention to the stuff that's really important, that's really required for survival. That is the grand solar minimum. Grand solar minimum is something that's kind of new. I mean, I've heard of it before, like, my science classes, in elementary school, but I like hearing about stuff like that so I can kind of remember things like that. But, if you're not really into that kind of stuff, you really wouldn't understand it. You would think, oh, grand solar minimum. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Okay, what's for dinner? But exactly, that's going to be so important because that's going to cause food shortages. And what it is the sun puts off solar flares. It's like the sun's awake, right? The sun's active. It's like out there jogging. It's out there playing tennis. It's out there, being super, super active. It's working 24/7, never takes a break. It's always on schedule, and you can rely on it because it's going to heat up in the springtime here in the United States to grow your food, and all is good. But what the sun does, and the grand solar minimum in the solar cycle 24, I believe it's solar cycle 24, it's 23 or 24. So in this, the sun's going to be taking a nap, right? It's going to be like, oh, I'm getting kind of sleepy. It's time for bed. I'm kind of yawning, and I need to take a rest. And okay, nap time. Or I'm going to go to sleep for a few hours, and hey, I'll see you in the morning. And so the solar flares are going to be disappearing. And when those solar flares disappear, it means that we're not going to have that warmth on Earth. Well, all plants require warmth to grow. I think a seed requires, I think it's 82 degrees Fahrenheit or 86 degrees Fahrenheit to sprout. And if you don't have that warmth, you don't grow food. And if you don't grow plants or food, you don't have anything else because even you're like, oh, okay, well, I eat a lot of meat and I eat a lot of dairy and, potato chips and my cat is up there. I don't eat a lot of plants. I'm not a fruit and vegetable person. I like my dairy and my, hold on, let me put my TV down. I eat a lot of dairy and meat, and so I'm good. Well, guess what cows eat? Guess what pigs eat? Guess what chickens eat? They all eat plant material. They eat corn. They eat soybeans. They eat crop byproducts. Husks. Everything plant. It's all plant material. So when you can't grow corn, you can't grow wheat, you're out of luck as far as all food material goes. You're thinking, okay, Doritos. Well, guess what? Doritos are made out of corn, and so everything is going to be, it's going to be a totally different story here in a few years to come. So Valentina Zarkova, she is a Russian scientist who I think she's a mathematician actually. She has said that the drop off began in 2017, and it's going to bottom out in 2024 through 2025 for the grand solar minimum, and it's going to rebound slightly through 2035, then drop again through 2050. So here we are, June 2019, and so we're talking 30 years. If it's going to drop again through 2050, we're talking 30 years. So that's a long time to go without growing plant material. So, on a big scales. And we're going to be looking at food shortages here because this summer, this spring, we had the entire Midwest of America flooded. If you want to talk about where plant material is grown in the United States, there's a few places that are really, really high on that spectrum. So we're going to say Central Valley, California. That's really, really high producing ag center for the United States. We get a lot of produce from there. We get fruits, vegetables, tomatoes, strawberries. We get a lot of food from the San Joaquin Valley, especially Fresno, California, Salinas, Madera. You just never hear about it because you always hear about San Francisco and LA. So the other places that are really, really high on the spectrum is Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas. um, those places produce so much plant food, corn, soybeans, wheat, so much, acres, thousands and hundreds of thousands of acres of that plant material, and that is the plant material that is fed to cows. It produces our bread. It produces um, everything that's in our cupboard and in our refrigerator, one way or the other. So we've had a lot of flooding, and the flooding it's kind of a byproduct from the solar flares. The solar flares really, really are about heat, the heat that's required to grow plants. But also, solar flares come with a lot of electricity. Oh my God, oh, making me crazy. They're starting to get the adolescent cats, and they're just making me crazy. All right, you guys. So sorry about that. So, so the solar flares, they create the heat, right? And you need that for your plants. But they also create electricity, and electricity is positive and negative, right? You have the positive end of a battery, the negative end of a battery. Well, that works the same thing with electricity, lightning, and magnets. So the magnet reversal, or you could say like the magnet's kind of like going to sleep also because those solar flares are going to sleep on the sun. So that magnet reversal is causing the floods because water is very, very prone to plus and negative. Also, um, if you've ever done like a siphon or something like that, you understand that the water falls in on itself. Well, that's because of the positive and negative um, atoms in the water, H2O. So we're getting huge, huge fluctuations in water movement on the earth. We've had them all over the world, but here in the United States, we've had them in our major, major plant growing belts, and we've flooded out. Well, if it was just the water, okay, fine, but now we have low temperatures on top of that. So now it's like strike one, we had all the flooding, okay, strike two, we have low temperatures. And there's no way that those crops are going to grow. It's just physically impossible for those plants to produce anything with those two strikes on them. So I feel really, really sorry for the farmers. Um, they're going to be losing their family business that they've had for several generations. Um, it's not their fault, and they're going to get blamed for this. Well, really, this video um, is about who's going to be really blamed for this, and I think it's going to be President Trump, because even though it's a grand solar minimum, we have nothing to do about it. We do not control the Earth. We do not control solar flares. There's no technology that can do it. There's nothing within our human capability that says we can control what the sun does. I mean, good luck. There's no laser. There's no no nothing that we can just reach up and touch the sun and say, hey, wake up, we need more warmth and stop doing with the magnets, polar stuff. So, um, so who's going to get blamed for this? So we have elections coming up in 2020, and who's going to get blamed for it is the person who's going to be getting reelected or elected in 2020. And I tend to think it's going to be the first. I think it's going to be reelected because there's going to be those people out there pointing the finger at President Trump saying, well, you should have, why is the food so expensive? Why don't we have food? Why are you letting the people starve? You're cold and you're heartless. You don't care about the people. You're letting all these people starve. You're letting the food prices skyrocket. Well, anyone who's got any common sense is going to say, hey, it wasn't me. It was, these floods. It was, and then they're going to say, well, then maybe we should have fixed infrastructure. Well, there's no infrastructure in the world that can hold back the water that came through. None. I mean, they did have infrastructure and it broke down. Well, we should rebuild it. Well, with the amount of water that was released, there's pretty much no way to hold that water back with these magnetic reversals. It's just there's so much water, there's just no way to hold it back. So President Trump is going to get blamed for that, but the people who support President Trump are going to be eating humble pie. And those people, because they're going to be going, well, yeah, President Trump let these people starve, and the food is going up, and all the prices are going up, and, you know, it's going to be, the economy's going to be changing. I could barely put food on, I could, just make it before, just making my car payment, my house payment, putting the food on the table for my family, and now food prices have gone up triple, and now I can, now it's either, pay for food or, have gas to go to work. So it's going to get really, really tricky here sooner than later in regards to food prices and what people are going to be able to pay for. And, I was really lucky when I grew up because my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother were alive when I was, in my teens. And I was able to go to their farm and help out and do stuff, on the farm. And, they survived the Great Depression with their own cattle and chickens. And my great-grandmother had a huge garden. And, they were really, really good stewards of land. And they were able to sell some stuff to survive and keep their family afloat. But the Great Depression is nothing like what's going to be coming up because the Great Depression, they at least had good weather to grow food. Yeah, they didn't have any gold and silver, and the dollar was worth nothing, and they couldn't, they were scraping by for a long time. But at least they had a warm sun, a warm, active sun, without magnetic reversals causing a catastrophic flooding. Now we have a sun that's asleep, and we have catastrophic flooding due to magnetic reversals. So, it's going to be like, apples and oranges comparing the Great Depression. But I think that they're going to have, I think in a while we're going to have people who support. Great, that was my phone. My cat just did. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. So we're going to be seeing a bunch of stuff going on. We're going to be seeing all these food prices, and we're going to be seeing the people who support Trump are a certain crowd, right? We've got two basic divisions in our civil process right now. We have the people who want the wall, people who don't want the wall, people who want sanctuary cities, people who don't want sanctuary cities, people who don't want socialism, people who do want socialism. Those are huge, huge topics. And people are either black and white on them, and they're willing to go to the mat to debate on it and stick up for themselves. We're not coming into the middle on that because, either you want it or you don't. There's really kind of no middle anymore. So the people who do support Donald Trump, those are the people who want the wall. They don't want sanctuary cities. They don't want socialism. They want, they want, um, you know, liberty. They want to be self-reliant. They don't want to have to. They want to help the neighbor, but they don't want to have to help the neighbor. If they want it to be their choice, not someone make their choice for them. So these people who support Donald Trump, basically, on a huge, huge worldwide level, or at least a level in the United States, when these food prices skyrocket and people can't afford food, those people who support Donald Trump are going to be eating humble pie or eating crow because they're going to go like, well, yeah, why didn't this president, why didn't he keep food prices down? Why are people starving? And, there's such a mask on, people, the schools have been cramming misinformation down so many generations of um, students, kids, intellect about, what climate change is, that it's going to be really, really hard to educate people. And when they're out there struggling for food, they're not going to be hanging out watching, climate change videos, trying to read through what's real and what isn't. So what's real is that we have a ground solar minimum that is happening right now. Like I said, it began in 2017. It's going to bottom out in 2024 to 2025. So it's going to be really, really serious here. So anyway, I think that President Trump is going to get blamed for something that the sun's doing that no one in this entire world can control. Um, I'm not saying that President Trump is, who I voted for. I think, I just think there's going to be a fall guy, and I think he's going to be it. And all the people who support him, who are chanting the same mantra as what Donald Trump's putting out there, what the media is portraying, is going to be the fall group, the group who's going to be eating humble pie and eating crow um, because of something that, hey, Ted, because of something um, that no one can control anyway. But it's never going to be portrayed that way because it's really, really hard to even get that there's a grand solar minimum out there and that food shortages are going to happen um, even in good times. So just think about it in bad times. So I highly recommend that you watch a few YouTube channels. Adapt 2030 is excellent. Uh, David Dubine is the moderator of that channel. He's really, really good. Sorry, my dog's barking too. And then there's Ice Age Farmer. He's really, really good. And then there's another guy out there. His name is Matt Powers, I think, and he does permaculture. But you really, really need to think about. I know it's really tough. I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to get my seed storage together, and I'm trying to get my raised beds put together, and it's hard to do when you're living on kind of a tight budget. But if you're gonna make some priorities in your life, instead of buying that new car or instead of buying that new summer wardrobe or that vacation, may I suggest that you purchase some items to grow your own food. It's going to be very, very important that you know how to do that. You can buy all the stuff you want, but if you don't know how to do it also, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. It's not hard to do, but you just have to go out there and do it, and you just have to, um, know how important it is to know why you have to do it. So anyway, that is my video for today. Please subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, well, you can hit the thumbs down button, but you can also just click on another video, someone else's. Um, Although I hope you did like the video. I'm really trying to get the word out there to help people to understand what's going on with this grand solar minimum. It's very important you understand what our sun is doing and that no one can control it. It's just part of nature. It's happened before in history. It's not anything new. It's something that's happened in hundreds of years ago. It's very predictable and it happens all the time. But that's what's going to be going on. So please grow your own food. Please check out those other channels I told you about. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like my videos, watch some more. Alright, thanks you guys. Have a great evening. Bye.